The first time I meditated, I was in the 5th grade. I was very fortunate to have a teacher that was very fantastic all around, but also taught me the importance of meditation very early on in my life. Since then, I've continued my meditation practices throughout my life, not always as regular as I would like, but recently I've been meditating much more than normal, sometimes upwards of an hour or so a day. So since I've been feeling rather passionate about the topic recently, I figured it might be worth a video. With the recent surge in awareness of mental health, I think meditation has also gotten kind of a kick of popularity. And with that has come lots of misconceptions about what it is, false understandings, and in general the community that meditates is generally very polarized, one side claiming it and praising it for all the benefits, the other side feeling with a bit of a lackluster feeling that they're not really getting much out of it, or at least not as much as some of these other people say that they do. Just like most things in life, I think the answer is neither one way or another. I think it's more of a middle ground, the gray zone, so to speak. I don't think the question is quite as black and white as meditation will change your life or it will have no benefits. Now, I'm certainly no expert on the topic of meditation other than the fact that I've been doing it the majority of my life at this point. Recently I've been reading a lot of literature by Buddhist monks and other practitioners of meditation, and I've learned a lot of valuable lessons. And I've also seen how the media has created a lot of false perceptions about what meditation is and what can be really valuable about it. So I'd like to make a video to just kind of give my perspective on it and what I think is the most valuable parts of meditating. So to start off, I want to talk a little bit about the science of meditation. We have done brain scans and studies on whether or not there are objective, quantitative benefits of meditating, and we found some interesting results specifically in areas of anxiety, depression, learning, memory, and then overall relaxed feelings, known as, I believe, alpha waves. So it's clear that something is happening during meditation. There's a motorcycle outside. So it's clear that something is happening during meditation, but the question is it actually the opening of a third eye, or spiritual enlightenment, or astral projection? That would be the other end of the spectrum that's saying that meditation will provide you with such a new perspective that it will literally change your life. And you can't discount this perspective, because without having that experience, you can't say one way or another. So although you can't disprove it, you also can't prove it. So personally, I take this with a grain of salt, and I don't meditate for the purpose of trying to gain some sort of enlightenment, and I think that's probably the right perspective. If at some point you do, then I'll just count that as an added bonus. So, you do get benefits from meditation. Not all people feel these benefits, but it's very clear that in areas of learning and memory, anxiety, depression, like I mentioned previously, all of these areas of the brain are affected positively through meditation. However, it's not as clear as to how much or to what degree these areas of the brain are affected. And to me, the value of meditation comes from something a little bit less subjective. Not so far on the side of spiritual enlightenment, but it is less measurable. The most value at least, I think, comes from meditation grounding you in the present, in the here and now. And I'm sure you've heard this countless times throughout your life of be present. And I'm not entirely sure people think deeply about this idea as much as they should. If you've ever visited a really spectacular site, such as the Grand Canyon or a national park or somewhere where you're just overtaken by beauty of where you are, and you're forced into this present moment where you just completely feel alive and you're seeing the world as if you've seen it for the first time, right? We've all kind of experienced this idea, but in general, this feeling is reserved for those very spectacular places and moments in our lives. those times where we feel truly present in the moment. And the value of meditation is the more you do it and the longer you do it, it acts as sort of a conduit for bringing you to that place in your everyday life. Now again, to what degree you feel this feeling through meditating is kind of up for debate. There's lots of people who say they don't feel anything meditating, but regardless of whether or not you feel something emotionally, meditation still grounds, if done properly, it still grounds you in the present moment, and allows you to have some level of that feeling, even if it's not overwhelming like it is at the Grand Canyon, for example. Now the question is, why is it important to have that feeling of presentness? You could talk about why that's important for hours, about being happy and the past and future being an illusion and you're only living in the present, so to be truly alive you have to live in the present. All of that I think is great, and if you're interested in reading more about it, I'll link a book in the description that talks a lot about it really well. However, the biggest piece, or the biggest part of being present that I think is important, is the ability to look deeply at things in the present, if that makes sense. This is kind of a weird concept, so let me give you an example. Have you ever thought deeply about a door? Just a door. Something we use countless times every day, and I'm willing to bet you probably haven't given a door much thought. But a door is something that's very valuable to us. It protects us from the outside elements, it provides us with safety, privacy, all of these things. It's just a door that we use countless times. But it's being present that allows us to think so deeply about something like a door. Now when you use this same idea of thinking deeply about things in the present, you can change the direction from things like a door to other people. And this will fill you with a much greater sense of empathy and compassion for others, because you're left with this feeling of like true understanding by being fully present with them and thinking deeply about where they are. So through meditation, we practice becoming more present. By being more present, we allow ourselves to be more compassionate and empathetic towards others and ourselves. And I think that piece is the key, maybe not the key, but the most valuable thing that I personally have found out of meditation. Everyone has the seeds of a deeply compassionate person inside them. And the more you water these seeds, the more these qualities come out in your everyday life. And it is the process of meditating that allows us to water these seeds. So the more you meditate, the more compassionate you become, and through that you start seeing changes in your everyday life. For example, the next time you're stuck in traffic, if you're deeply present through meditation, I don't recommend meditating while driving, at least with the eyes closed sense. It's probably quite dangerous. But if you meditate other times in your day, you're more likely to be drawn into the present during the traffic, and you'll start to see all the people on the road that were once causing you trouble as other people who are all maybe they had a bad day at work and they're trying to rush home, and that's why they cut you off. And that deep compassion for that person is gonna make it so you're not angry or even notice when they cut you off. All those little things that start to dissolve away, and you're able to appreciate life a little bit more. Now I know that's a little less concrete than I usually talk about, and if that's not for you, it still has fantastic benefits for anxiety and depression. I would never claim that meditation by itself can cure anxiety or depression or any mental illness. I think those are things that should be treated in a very clinical sense, but it still offers a possible coping mechanism for those types of things, which might lessen the load of them. Past that, like I mentioned, the memory and learning, all of those areas affected by meditation. So if the compassion piece isn't something that really interests you, I still think there's value through meditation. And even if it doesn't interest you, I think the whole world could use a little bit more compassion and kindness. So the more people meditating, I think the better.